If you truly want to become untouchable, you must first understand one thing: the world will never stop testing you. People will judge you, situations will frustrate you, and life will throw challenges when you least expect them. But Stoicism teaches us a simple truth: nothing has the power to break you unless you give it permission. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, said you have power over your mind, not outside events. This is the foundation of becoming untouchable. Control your mind, not the world around you. This is the core of Stoic strength and the reason some people become unshakable while others fall apart at the first sign of difficulty. The truth is simple: life will not adjust itself to your expectations. People will behave in ways you don't like, circumstances will turn against your plans, and the world will continue moving with or without your permission. But your mind, your thoughts, your inner climate, these belong only to you, and this is where your real power lies. When you learn to control your inner world, the outer world loses its ability to control you. Most people live in reverse. They try to force everything outside themselves to behave how they want. They want people to treat them a certain way. They want situations to go according to plan. They want life to be smooth so they can feel calm. But Stoicism teaches the opposite. Don't wait for calmness to come from outside. Build it inside yourself. When you rely on external stability, you are always vulnerable because everything external is temporary. But when your stability comes from your mind, you become untouchable. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily that the world was full of unpredictable events, but the one thing he could always control was his judgment, his perception, and his response. If someone insulted him, he chose whether to take offense or not. If plans failed, he chose whether to panic or adjust. If challenges came, he chose whether to resist or grow from them. This is the power you also hold, the power to select your inner response, even when the external situation seems hostile. Controlling your mind begins with awareness. You cannot change what you do not notice. When something irritates you, stop for a moment and ask yourself why. Is the irritation coming from the event itself, or from the meaning you have attached to it? Often, the problem is not the world but the story you tell yourself about it. Someone else's attitude is not your suffering. Your thought about that attitude becomes suffering. Once you see this clearly, you begin to break the automatic cycle of reacting to everything without thinking. The next step is discipline. Controlling your mind requires training. You must practice letting thoughts pass without grabbing them. Practice stepping back from emotions before they pull you into chaos. Practice reminding yourself that your peace is not something the world gives you, it's something you guard. A disciplined mind becomes a shield. It stops the world from entering you unless you choose to let it in. You cannot stop stress from appearing, but you can stop it from ruling you. Another part of mastering your mind is understanding that you always have a choice. Even when you feel trapped, you have a choice in how you interpret the moment. Even when someone disrespects you, you have a choice in how much access you give them to your peace. Even when life hits hard, you have a choice in whether you break or build yourself stronger. This choice is your freedom, the freedom no one can take away because it exists inside your thoughts. The more you control your mind, the less the world can disturb you. You become aware that other people's opinions are not your truth. You realize that setbacks are not personal attacks, but natural parts of existence. You see that many problems disappear the moment you stop giving them emotional fuel. Control of the mind is not about avoiding feelings, it's about guiding them. It's about making sure your emotions serve you instead of ruling you. When you master this inner power, you stop wasting energy on things you cannot control. You stop chasing approval. You stop reacting to small things. You stop living at the mercy of circumstances. And slowly, you build a quiet strength that nothing outside of you can shake. Your reaction is your greatest power. Every moment of your life, things happen around you that you did not choose, did not expect, and often did not want. People disappoint you, situations challenge you, and events unfold in ways you cannot control. But no matter how unpredictable the world becomes, there is one thing that always remains in your hands: your reaction. This is where your strength lies, because your reaction is the part of life that no one else can touch, shape, or decide for you. It is your most powerful tool, and the Stoics believe that mastering it is the key to inner freedom. Most people are ruled by emotions. They get angry instantly when something goes wrong. They get hurt by careless words. They panic when plans fall apart, and they let outside situations steal their inner peace without even realizing it. But the Stoic mindset teaches that the true measure of strength is not how much you control others, but how well you control your own responses. You might not be able to choose what happens, but you can always choose how to respond, and that choice determines the direction of your life. When you understand that your reaction shapes your experience, everything begins to change. A problem is not just a problem, it becomes a test of patience. An insult is not an attack, it becomes an opportunity to rise above pettiness. A challenge is not a burden, it becomes training for the mind. When you see life this way, nothing external can defeat you, because you no longer respond from impulse, but from strength. Your reaction can either protect your peace or destroy it. When you react without thinking, you hand over your power to the world. Someone insults you, and you explode. Something delays you, and you panic. A small inconvenience ruins your whole day. But when you pause, breathe, and choose your response intentionally, you take your power back. You become the master of your own inner state. Instead of being pushed around by circumstances, you stand rooted in clarity and control. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself constantly that people act from their own fears, misunderstandings, and limitations. Their behavior says everything about them and nothing about you. If you let someone else's attitude change your mood, you allow them to control your inner world. But if you respond with calmness, patience, or silence, you show that your mind belongs only to you. Your reaction becomes a shield that protects your energy. Another part of mastering your reaction is understanding the difference between feeling and responding. Feeling is natural, reacting is a choice. You can feel anger rise but choose not to feed it. You can feel hurt but decide not to act from that pain. You can feel frustrated but respond with patience. This separation between emotion and action is one of the highest forms of control, and it allows you to navigate life without being overwhelmed by every emotion that passes through you. Your reaction also shapes how others treat you. When you react emotionally, people learn they can trigger you. When you stay calm, they learn their words or actions have no power over you. Calmness is not weakness. It is a form of dominance. It shows that you carry yourself with discipline and that your mind is stronger than the situation. It silently communicates a message. You cannot be controlled. The more you practice choosing your reactions, the stronger you become. You begin to see that most conflicts are unnecessary. Most arguments can be avoided with silence. Most negativity dies when you refuse to feed it. Your reaction becomes a filter that keeps your mind clean, focused, and peaceful. It becomes the tool through which you decide the quality of your life. Detach from things you cannot control. This is one of the most powerful lessons in Stoic philosophy, and it is essential if you want to live a life of calm, strength, and freedom. The world is full of events, people, and circumstances that are completely beyond your influence. You cannot control what others do, what situations arise, or how life unfolds. But you can control how much power you give these things over your mind. When you learn to detach from what is outside your control, you free yourself from unnecessary suffering and gain the ability to remain steady in any situation. Most people make the mistake of trying to control what is uncontrollable. They worry about outcomes, plead for fairness, or hope that others will behave according to their expectations. This only leads to frustration, anger, and disappointment. The Stoics taught that the secret to peace is not to eliminate challenges, but to understand which things are your responsibility and which are not. The more you focus on what you cannot control, the weaker you become. The more you focus on your own thoughts, actions, and choices, the stronger you grow. Detachment does not mean indifference. It does not mean you stop caring or stop taking action where you can make a difference. It means you stop giving emotional energy to what you cannot change. For example, if someone insults you, detachment means you do not let their words define your worth. If a plan fails because of circumstances outside your control, detachment means you accept it without panic and adjust your approach. By letting go of attachment to outcomes, You maintain your inner balance and avoid unnecessary suffering. Marcus Aurelius wrote extensively about this principle. He reminded himself that the universe is vast, and everything that happens is part of the natural order. People will act out of ignorance, chance will disrupt plans, and life will continue moving according to its own rhythm. When he encountered difficulties, he did not waste energy on frustration. Instead, he focused on controlling his own judgments, actions, and reactions. This mindset allowed him to remain untouchable by external chaos. Detachment also requires perspective. Most things we worry about are temporary and insignificant when seen from a larger viewpoint. Problems that seem overwhelming today often look small and irrelevant tomorrow. By stepping back and asking yourself whether an event will matter in a week, a month, or a year, you begin to reduce its emotional impact. Detachment helps you see life clearly and act wisely instead of reacting emotionally. Another key aspect of detachment is realizing that your value does not depend on external circumstances. People may praise you, criticize you, support you, or ignore you, but none of these can change who you truly are. Your character, discipline, and inner strength are yours alone. When you detach from the need for validation, you protect your peace and gain freedom. No one can hurt you as long as you refuse to let external events define your state of mind. Detachment is a practice. It requires consistent effort to remind yourself that not everything deserves your attention or emotional energy. You must observe your thoughts. Notice when you are clinging to outcomes or people, and gently release that attachment. The more you practice, the more natural it becomes, and the less the world can disturb you. Life will continue throwing challenges at you, but your mind will remain steady, unshaken by forces beyond your control. Protect your inner peace at all costs. This is one of the most important lessons in Stoic philosophy, and it is the foundation of becoming untouchable. Your peace of mind is your most valuable possession because it shapes the way you see the world, make decisions, and live your life. Without it, everything else, success, relationships, health loses meaning. The world will constantly try to disturb your peace through chaos, conflict, and distractions, but it is your responsibility to guard it carefully. No one else can do this for you. Many people give away their peace without even realizing it. They react impulsively to criticism, worry endlessly about outcomes they cannot control, or let negative people influence their emotions. Every time you allow the outside world to dictate your state of mind, you weaken yourself. Protecting your peace means becoming aware of these moments and consciously choosing not to let them take over. It requires discipline, awareness, and a deep understanding of your own mind. Marcus Aurelius constantly reminded himself to maintain inner calm, no matter what challenges arose around him. He knew that external events are beyond his control, but his thoughts and reactions always remained under his authority. This is the essence of Stoicism. The world can act, but it cannot disturb you unless you allow it. When you protect your inner peace, you create a mental fortress. No matter how loud the chaos outside, you remain steady and unshaken. Protecting your peace also means choosing your battles wisely. Not every argument, insult, or conflict deserves your attention. By deciding what is worth reacting to and what should be ignored, you conserve energy and maintain stability. People often waste hours of emotional energy on trivial matters, letting minor annoyances ruin their day. Stoicism teaches that true strength comes from restraint. When you respond only to what aligns with your values, your mind remains calm, and your energy is preserved for what truly matters. Another important aspect is surrounding yourself, what supports your peace and avoiding what destroys it. This may include reducing exposure to toxic people, avoiding unnecessary drama, or limiting distractions that drain mental clarity. Protecting your peace is an active choice, not a passive state. You must consistently evaluate what enters your mind and decide whether it serves your calm or disrupts it. The more selective you are, the stronger your inner stability becomes. Meditation, reflection, and journaling are powerful tools for maintaining peace. By examining your thoughts and reactions regularly, you can identify patterns that disturb you and take steps to change them. Stoics believe that a disciplined mind is a peaceful mind. When you train yourself to respond thoughtfully instead of impulsively, you reduce chaos and cultivate serenity. Protecting your peace requires constant practice, but the results are profound clarity, focus, and resilience. It is also essential to accept that challenges will come, but they do not have to disrupt your inner calm. Life will present difficult people, unexpected obstacles, and unfair situations. The Stoic approach is not to pretend these challenges do not exist, but to meet them with controlled, intentional responses. By choosing calm over panic, patience over anger, and reflection over impulsivity, you maintain control over your mental state. Your peace becomes a shield, making you untouchable by the turbulence around you. When you protect your inner peace, you begin to notice the world differently. You are no longer reactive. You are proactive. You respond to events thoughtfully instead of emotionally. You are able to navigate life with wisdom and clarity. Protecting your peace is not about avoiding life or becoming cold. It is about ensuring that your mind remains your strongest asset, untouchable by the unpredictable forces outside. Do not take anything personally, it's never about you. This is one of the most powerful lessons from Stoic philosophy, and it is a key to becoming untouchable. Every day, people say and do things that could hurt us. Criticism, insults, misunderstandings, and rejection happen constantly. The natural reaction is to feel offended, angry, or defensive. But the Stoics remind us that other people's words and actions reflect their own thoughts, beliefs, and limitations, not your worth or value. When you truly internalize this idea, you free yourself from unnecessary suffering. Most people automatically assume that negative behavior from others is a reflection of them. Someone is rude, and they feel personally attacked. Someone criticizes them, and they feel their self-esteem slipping. Someone ignores or excludes them, and they feel rejected. This is a trap because it gives others power over your emotions. Stoicism teaches that the external world has no control over your inner state unless you allow it. Your mind is your own, and your peace is yours to protect. Marcus Aurelius often reminded himself that people act according to their understanding of the world, which is limited and flawed. Their anger, jealousy, or criticism has more to do with their own struggles than with you. Recognizing this is the first step to detachment. When someone insults you, it is their perception, not your reality. When someone judges you, it is their perspective, not your truth. Understanding this allows you to maintain control over your reactions and prevents others from disturbing your inner calm. Taking nothing personally also requires a shift in perspective. You must separate your self-worth from external validation. Praise, criticism, success, or failure are not indicators of who you are at your core. Your value comes from your character, your choices, and the principles you live by. When you focus on these internal measures instead of external opinions, you become untouchable. People may try to provoke you, but if you refuse to internalize their actions, you remain steady and unshaken. Another key aspect is emotional awareness. Feelings of hurt or anger are natural, but letting them control your behavior gives away your power. You can acknowledge your emotions without letting them dominate your actions. This is a central principle of Stoic practice. By observing your emotions and choosing how to respond, you maintain authority over your inner world. Your mind becomes a fortress that cannot be breached by careless words or actions of others. Taking nothing personally also strengthens relationships and communication. When you stop reacting defensively, you can respond with clarity and understanding. You can address conflicts without being controlled by emotion. You can engage with others without absorbing their negativity. This approach does not make you cold, it makes you wise. It allows you to navigate social situations with calm and confidence, always in control of your mental state. Finally, internalizing this Stoic principle requires consistent practice. Every time someone says something hurtful or acts in a way that might provoke you, remind yourself that it is about them, not you. Observe your reaction, choose calm over impulse, and refuse to give away your peace. Over time, this becomes natural. Your mind becomes untouchable because no external circumstance can shake it, no opinion can alter it, and no negativity can penetrate it. You gain true freedom by realizing that the power to be disturbed lies not in others, but only in yourself, and by refusing to grant it. Stay calm under pressure. Calmness is strength. This is one of the most important teachings of Stoicism, and it is essential if you want to become untouchable in life. Life will constantly test you with challenges, conflicts, and unexpected events. People will try to provoke you. Circumstances will change suddenly, and plans will fail without warning. In these moments, your reaction determines everything. Remaining calm is not a sign of weakness or passivity. It is the demonstration of control, clarity, and inner power. Calmness allows you to think clearly, make better decisions, and face adversity without being overwhelmed by emotion. Most people lose their strength because they react impulsively to pressure. They panic, argue, or allow frustration to cloud their judgment. They mistake chaos in the outside world for chaos inside themselves. Stoicism teaches the opposite. Your mind is independent of external conditions. By staying calm under pressure, you create a space between the stimulus and your response. This space allows you to act intentionally rather than react emotionally. It is in this space that true strength is born. Marcus Aurelius faced immense pressure throughout his life. As an emperor, he dealt with wars, political conspiracies, and personal loss. Yet he consistently reminded himself to remain calm. He understood that external events are beyond his control, but his own judgment, perception, and response are entirely his responsibility. By maintaining calm, he was able to lead effectively, make rational decisions, and remain unshaken by chaos. His example teaches us that calmness is not passive acceptance, but active mastery of the mind. Calmness under pressure is also a practice of perspective. When you encounter a difficult situation, ask yourself how important it will be in a week, a month, or a year. Most challenges lose their power when seen in the larger context of life. By stepping back and assessing reality, you prevent small problems from escalating into emotional turmoil. Calmness allows you to prioritize, focus, and address what truly matters instead of being distracted by trivial stressors. Another element of calmness is the ability to separate fact from emotion. Often, our anxiety comes not from the event itself, but from the stories we tell ourselves about it. A delay in plans is not failure. Criticism is not truth. Conflict is not personal attack. When you stay calm, you can see events as they truly are rather than through the lens of fear or anger. This clarity gives you a strategic advantage. Calmness is strength because it keeps your mind sharp and prevents emotional decisions that lead to mistakes. Staying calm also protects your relationships and influence. When others see you remaining composed under stress, they trust your judgment, respect your presence, and feel secure around you. Chaos and panic are contagious, but calmness inspires confidence and stability. By modeling calm behavior, you reduce conflict and improve communication, making you a stabilizing force in any situation. Developing calmness under pressure requires consistent practice. Meditation, reflection, and mindful breathing are tools that help train your mind to remain steady. Each time you encounter stress, pause, breathe, and consciously choose a measured response. Over time, this becomes automatic, and you no longer allow external pressures to dictate your emotional state. Your calmness becomes your shield, your strength, and your advantage, making you untouchable in the face of life's inevitable storms. Your worth comes from your character, not opinions. This is a central principle of Stoic philosophy, and a foundation for becoming untouchable. Society constantly bombards us with messages about how we should look, act, and succeed. People offer praise, criticism, or judgment based on their own perspectives, often without understanding who we truly are. If we base our self-worth on these external opinions, we give away our power and leave ourselves vulnerable to every word, action, or evaluation from others. True strength comes from understanding that your value is determined internally by the integrity of your character and the choices you make. Most people allow their sense of worth to fluctuate with external circumstances. They feel proud when others praise them and crushed when criticized. Their mood and confidence depend on the validation of others rather than their own principles. Stoicism teaches the opposite. Your worth is inherent, rooted in your virtues, your decisions, and the consistency of your actions. Marcus Aurelius, for example, constantly reminded himself that it is not what others think that matters, but how faithfully he lives according to reason, justice, courage, and self-discipline. These internal qualities are permanent, while opinions are fleeting. Understanding that worth comes from character requires introspection. You must regularly examine your actions, motives, and intentions. Are you acting with honesty? Are you showing patience, courage, and kindness? Are you living according to your values, even when no one is watching? When your answers are yes, you build a foundation of self-respect that no criticism can shake. Others may misunderstand you, misjudge you, or try to belittle you, but their opinions cannot diminish the strength you cultivate within yourself. Relying on opinions for self-worth also creates unnecessary suffering. When people depend on praise or fear judgment, they live in constant anxiety, trying to shape themselves to meet others' expectations. This distraction wastes energy and weakens mental resilience. Stoicism teaches that external validation is neither reliable nor meaningful. You cannot control what people think, only how you act and respond. By focusing on your character instead of opinions, you gain freedom from external pressures and maintain peace of mind. Another important aspect of valuing character over opinions is integrity. When your worth is based on internal virtues, you no longer compromise yourself to gain approval. You act according to your principles, not according to what will make others like or accept you. This leads to authenticity, confidence, and respect. Because people sense when someone is grounded in their values, authenticity rooted in character creates influence and admiration, far more than seeking validation ever could. Marcus Aurelius emphasized that external events and opinions are beyond our control, but our own actions are within our power. By mastering your thoughts, choices, and behaviors, you build a life of meaning and resilience. When you face criticism, rejection, or envy, you understand that these are reflections of others' perspectives, not of your intrinsic value. The more you cultivate your virtues, the less you are affected by outside opinions, and the stronger and more untouchable you become. Developing a mindset where character defines worth also requires patience and practice. It is not enough to understand the idea. You must live it daily. Evaluate your reactions to praise and criticism. Choose actions that align with your values even in difficult circumstances. Over time, you internalize this principle, and your self-esteem becomes unshakable. You no longer depend on the fleeting judgments of others, because your worth is secured by the one thing that cannot be taken away: the integrity of your own character. Pause before reacting. Clarity beats impulse. This principle is central to Stoic philosophy and essential for becoming untouchable in a chaotic world. Life constantly presents situations that provoke immediate reactions: anger, fear, frustration, or disappointment. The natural tendency is to respond instantly, letting emotions dictate words and actions. But reacting impulsively often leads to mistakes, regrets, and unnecessary conflict. Stoicism teaches that the moment between stimulus and response is where true power lies. By pausing, reflecting, and choosing your action deliberately, you gain control over your life and your mind. Most people live on autopilot. They allow events and people to push their emotional buttons, responding automatically without thought. A harsh comment triggers anger, a delay triggers frustration, a setback triggers panic. These reactions seem natural because they are instinctive, but they give away your power. The Stoics recognized that strength does not come from external circumstances, but from mastery of one's own mind. Every pause before reaction is an opportunity to reclaim your inner control. Marcus Aurelius often reminded himself that no one can truly harm him without his consent. The harm comes not from the event itself, but from the way he perceives and responds to it. This is the essence of pausing, recognizing that your response is a choice, and you have the ability to choose wisely. In the space between what happens and how you react, you have freedom. You can respond with clarity instead of anger, with patience instead of frustration, and with understanding instead of impulsive judgment. Pausing before reacting also prevents escalation. When people react immediately, emotions escalate, arguments intensify, and situations spiral out of control. By taking a moment to pause, breathe, and assess the situation, you break this cycle. You prevent unnecessary conflict and maintain your inner calm. This pause is not hesitation or weakness, it is deliberate strength. It allows you to respond with strategy and intention, making you untouchable by the chaos around you. Clarity comes from observation and reflection. When you pause, observe your thoughts and feelings objectively. Ask yourself why you feel this way. Is it the event itself, or the story you are telling yourself about it? Often, Our suffering comes not from external events, but from the meaning we assign to them. By observing this, you gain insight and prevent automatic emotional reactions. The pause becomes a tool for self-mastery, helping you act in alignment with reason rather than impulse. This principle also strengthens relationships and communication. Reacting impulsively can damage trust, cause misunderstandings, and create resentment. Pausing allows you to listen more deeply, respond thoughtfully, and navigate conflicts with wisdom. Others may act out of ignorance or emotion, but your composed response sets a tone of calm authority. People respect those who think before speaking, who act with intention, and who maintain stability, even in tense situations. Developing the habit of pausing requires consistent practice. Start by noticing your triggers, the moments when your emotions push you to react. Consciously take a breath, step back mentally, and choose your response. Over time, this becomes natural. Your mind gains resilience, and your reactions become deliberate rather than automatic. Clarity replaces chaos, intention replaces impulse, and you gain the freedom to remain untouchable in a world full of unpredictability. Each pause strengthens your ability to control your mind, shaping your life with wisdom and calm. Choose discipline over comfort every day. This is a core principle of Stoicism and a key to becoming untouchable. Life constantly tempts us with ease, pleasure, and avoidance of effort. It encourages shortcuts, procrastination, and indulgence. Most people follow these impulses, seeking immediate satisfaction and comfort, but in doing so, they sacrifice strength, resilience, and long-term growth. The Stoics understood that true power comes from consistent self-discipline, the ability to choose what is right and beneficial over what is easy or pleasurable in the moment. Discipline is the bridge between who you are and who you want to become. Comfort, on the other hand, keeps you trapped in mediocrity. When you always choose what is comfortable, you reinforce habits that weaken your mind, body, and character. Stoicism teaches that life's challenges are opportunities to practice self-control, and each act of discipline strengthens your inner foundation. By deliberately choosing discipline, you train yourself to face difficulties, resist temptations, and act in alignment with your values, even when it is uncomfortable. Marcus Aurelius constantly reminded himself to practice discipline. As emperor, his life was filled with pressures, responsibilities, and temptations, but he remained committed to reason, virtue, and self-control. He understood that discipline is not a restriction, it is the path to freedom. Freedom does not mean doing whatever you want. It means acting in accordance with your highest principles, rather than being enslaved by impulses or fleeting desires. Every disciplined choice builds mental strength and shields you from the chaos of external circumstances. Choosing discipline over comfort also develops resilience. Life will inevitably present difficulties, failure, criticism, setbacks, and loss. Without discipline, these challenges become overwhelming, and you may succumb to frustration, fear, or despair. With discipline, however, you face adversity with clarity and determination. You have practiced controlling your impulses, managing your emotions, and focusing on what matters most. This inner training makes you untouchable, because no external difficulty can derail a mind that has been shaped through consistent effort and self-control. Discipline also creates long-term success and fulfillment. Comfort provides short-term pleasure but rarely produces meaningful results. Discipline, though uncomfortable, builds habits, skills, and character that lead to lasting achievement. The Stoics emphasize that life is measured not by immediate gratification, but by the quality of your actions and the virtue you cultivate. By consistently choosing what is difficult but correct, you develop a life of purpose, strength, and stability, one that cannot be easily shaken by external events. Furthermore, practicing daily discipline trains your mind to focus on what truly matters. Comfort often distracts you with trivial concerns, unnecessary indulgences, and temporary pleasures. Discipline redirects attention toward growth, self-improvement, and meaningful goals. Each small act of self-control compounds over time, creating a powerful mental and emotional resilience. Your ability to endure discomfort, resist impulses, and act with intention becomes a shield, protecting you from the unpredictability of life. Discipline is not about perfection, it is about consistency. You may fail, make mistakes, or occasionally choose comfort over effort, but the key is to return to the practice immediately. Each day offers new opportunities to strengthen your self-control and make deliberate choices. By committing to discipline daily, you shape your character, fortify your mind, and build a life that is steady, purposeful, and untouchable by the fleeting pleasures and distractions that dominate the world around you. Let go of the need for validation. This is a powerful lesson from Stoic philosophy and a key step toward becoming untouchable. Human beings naturally seek approval from others. We crave recognition, praise, and acceptance because it gives us a temporary sense of worth and belonging. However, when we depend on external validation, we surrender control over our happiness and self-esteem to people and circumstances outside our influence. Stoicism teaches that true strength comes from looking inward, cultivating self-respect, and finding confidence in your own character rather than in the opinions of others. Most people allow their mood and self-worth to fluctuate based on what others think. A compliment can lift them temporarily, while a criticism can crush them for days. They measure success, beauty, intelligence, and virtue by the approval of their peers. This constant dependence on external affirmation creates insecurity, anxiety, and vulnerability. Stoicism reminds us that opinions are fleeting, often misguided, and ultimately beyond our control. No one can truly define your value except yourself, and clinging to the need for validation is a form of voluntary weakness. Marcus Aurelius understood this principle well. As emperor, he was constantly exposed to the opinions, judgments, and criticisms of others, yet he focused on living according to his principles rather than seeking praise. He reminded himself that the judgments of people are reflections of their own perspectives, biases, and limitations, not the measure of his worth. By detaching from validation, he remained focused, grounded, and untouchable in his decision-making. This teaches us that when we prioritize our own standards and virtues over the approval of others, we gain freedom and inner stability. Letting go of the need for validation requires self-awareness. You must recognize when you are acting to impress others rather than acting according to your values. Often, people make decisions, speak, or behave in ways designed to gain approval, avoid criticism, or fit in. This undermines their integrity and drains their energy. By pausing and asking, "Am I doing this because it is right, or because I want someone's approval?" you begin to reclaim your autonomy. Each time you act from principle rather than validation, your inner strength grows. Detachment from validation also strengthens resilience. Life is unpredictable, and not everyone will understand, or support you. There will always be critics, naysayers, and people who misunderstand your choices. If your self-esteem depends on their approval, these experiences can be devastating. But when you rely on your own judgment and your own sense of value, outside opinions cannot shake you. Your peace and confidence become independent of external forces, making you untouchable. Choosing to let go of validation also fosters authenticity. When you stop trying to meet the expectations of others, you begin to act according to your true self. You live with integrity, make decisions aligned with your values, and develop confidence in your own principles. Authenticity draws respect, builds trust, and creates influence naturally, without relying on superficial praise. You become a person whose worth is self-determined and cannot be diminished by external judgment. This practice requires consistent effort. Each time you feel the urge to seek approval, remind yourself that your character and choices define your worth, not the opinions of others. Gradually, the need for validation weakens, replaced by self-reliance, clarity, and inner strength. Over time, detachment from external approval allows you to act freely, think clearly, and live fully, without the constant influence of others' judgments. Your mind and heart become untouchable, because your sense of value comes from within. Embrace challenges as training for the mind. This is a core teaching of Stoicism and one of the most powerful ways to become untouchable. Life is full of difficulties, obstacles, and unexpected hardships. Most people see challenges as problems to avoid or setbacks to complain about, but the Stoics teach us to view them differently. Every challenge is an opportunity to strengthen your character, sharpen your mind, and develop resilience. Just as a muscle grows stronger through resistance, the mind grows stronger when tested by adversity. Many people react to challenges with fear, frustration, or avoidance. They see obstacles as threats to their comfort and security, and they let these difficulties dominate their emotions and decisions. Stoicism offers a radically different perspective. Difficulties are not enemies but tools for growth. By reframing challenges as training, you stop being a victim of circumstance and start using life's tests to build mental strength. Each difficulty becomes a lesson in patience, discipline, and endurance. Marcus Aurelius constantly reflected on the hardships he faced and reminded himself that challenges are part of nature's design. Wars, political pressures, personal losses, and the unpredictability of life could have been overwhelming, but he chose to see them as opportunities to practice virtue and wisdom. This mindset allowed him to remain steady, focused, and untouchable despite the chaos around him. When we adopt the same perspective, we turn adversity into an instrument for self-improvement rather than a source of suffering. Facing challenges as mental training begins with acceptance. You must acknowledge that difficulties are inevitable and that life will not always go according to plan. Resistance and denial create unnecessary stress, but acceptance allows you to approach challenges calmly and rationally. Once you accept that obstacles will come, you can shift your focus from wishing they didn't exist to asking, "How can I use this to grow?" This shift transforms fear and frustration into purpose and clarity. Challenges also teach patience and resilience. Life rarely moves at the pace we want, and outcomes are often delayed. The Stoics understood that endurance is a critical skill for mental strength. Each obstacle is a chance to practice patience, to persist despite discomfort, and to act consistently according to reason rather than impulse. By embracing challenges in this way, you develop a mind that remains steady under pressure, unshaken by uncertainty, and capable of navigating even the most difficult circumstances. Another benefit of viewing challenges as training is the cultivation of humility and perspective. Challenges remind us that we are not in complete control of the world, that life is unpredictable, and that others' actions may not always align with our desires. Stoicism teaches that acknowledging this reality reduces unnecessary frustration and envy. It encourages us to focus on what we can control, our thoughts, actions, and responses, while letting go of what we cannot. This mindset fosters calmness, strength, and emotional independence. Embracing challenges as training is also about long-term growth. Each difficulty you overcome builds experience, wisdom, and confidence. You learn to navigate uncertainty, make better decisions, and maintain composure in stressful situations. Over time, challenges that once seemed overwhelming become manageable, and your mind becomes resilient, disciplined, and untouchable. Life stops being something to fear and becomes a continuous opportunity to strengthen your inner self. Finally, this approach transforms your relationship with adversity. Instead of dreading difficulties or avoiding them, you begin to anticipate them as opportunities for growth. Every challenge, no matter how small or large, becomes a stepping stone to mastery over your mind, emotions, and actions. By embracing challenges as training for the mind, you develop the mental fortitude that makes you untouchable in the face of life's inevitable trials. Refuse to let negativity enter your mind. This is a crucial principle of Stoicism and a powerful way to become untouchable. Life is full of negative influences, people who complain, criticize, manipulate, or spread fear. There are also the constant distractions of news, social media, and unnecessary drama. Most people allow these external forces to invade their thoughts, letting negativity shape their emotions, decisions, and energy. Stoicism teaches that your mind is your own, and you have the power to decide what to let in. By guarding it carefully, you preserve clarity, focus, and inner strength. Negativity can be subtle or overt. Sometimes it comes in the form of toxic people whose opinions and actions seek to provoke or depress you. Other times it comes as self-doubt, worry, or pessimistic thinking that feeds itself from your imagination. Many people react automatically to these negative influences, allowing them to dictate mood, behavior, and mental state. The Stoics remind us that these things only have power if we give it to them. Your mind is like a fortress. What you allow inside determines your strength and peace. Marcus Aurelius frequently reflected on the importance of protecting his mind from negativity. He understood that external events are beyond his control, but his judgment, perception, and thoughts are entirely his responsibility. By refusing to entertain unhelpful or destructive ideas, he maintained focus and stability, even in difficult circumstances. This discipline of the mind allowed him to act with clarity, make wise decisions, and remain unaffected by chaos or hostility around him. Refusing to let negativity in begins with awareness. You must notice when your thoughts are being influenced by pessimism, fear, or criticism. Pay attention to your reactions to people, situations, or news. Ask yourself whether these influences are productive or destructive. Stoicism emphasizes the practice of questioning the value of every thought. By actively choosing which thoughts to engage with, you prevent negativity from gaining a foothold in your mind. Another aspect is controlling what you expose yourself to. Avoid unnecessary drama, gossip, and toxic conversations that drain your energy. Limit consumption of news or social media that promotes fear, outrage, or despair. Surround yourself with positivity, reason, and individuals who support growth rather than feeding negativity. This does not mean avoiding reality or pretending challenges do not exist, but it does mean selectively focusing your mind on what serves your clarity and resilience. Refusing negativity also requires training your internal dialogue. The Stoics emphasized self-talk and reflection. Replace judgment, resentment, and pessimism with calm analysis, gratitude, and constructive thought. When criticism or setbacks occur, respond with reason rather than emotion. When fear arises, face it with perspective and rational assessment. By actively choosing how to think about events, you prevent negative emotions from taking root and spreading within your mind. This practice strengthens emotional resilience. People who do not allow negativity to influence them maintain peace of mind. Regardless of circumstances, they are less reactive, more focused, and more capable of responding intentionally to challenges. Their energy is preserved for meaningful actions, and their mental clarity allows them to navigate life's complexities with confidence. Refusing negativity is not avoidance, it is empowerment. It transforms the mind into a sanctuary that cannot be disturbed by external chaos, criticism, or hostility. The more consistently you practice refusing negativity, the more untouchable your mind becomes. Each moment you choose clarity over fear, reason over complaint, and focus over distraction, you reinforce your inner strength. Life will continue to present challenges, difficult people, and unforeseen events, but when your mind is free of negativity, these cannot break you. By guarding your thoughts and choosing what to entertain, you cultivate the mental fortitude that makes you resilient, calm, and untouchable.